This video is for informational and educational purposes only. Hey guys, Paul here with my progress update for contest prep. We are 13 weeks out now. Things are moving along fairly well, I think. I don't know. At this phase of the contest prep, I don't know. You're not really into the hard part of it yet. It's just kind of coasting along. I'll get into it in a second. Before I do so, please take the time to subscribe to my channel. It's the best way you can show your appreciation for all this awesome content I'm putting out. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up. If you want to get in contact with me about coaching or a consultation call to go over your PEDs, diet, training, whatever, you can do so by contacting me. My contact information is in the video description. I am at Paul K. Barnett on Instagram. My email is bigp3rd@gmail.com. If you have a question or a comment, you can put them in the comment section below, and I'll do my best to answer each and every one of them. All right, so I'm 13 weeks out right now. 3 weeks down, 13 weeks to go. The first 4 weeks of contest prep are just, I don't even really feel like they're contest prep. We're not using any fat burners. We're not really doing that much cardio. We pull the calories back a little bit, get body composition in a better place, and really just kind of get yourself prepared for the full court press. 12 weeks, the 12 to 8 weeks range it gets a little harder. And then from 8 weeks on in, then it gets real. So, right now it's just, I feel good. Training's good. I'm actually getting stronger. I know that's not going to last. So we're in a good place right now. Weight this week, I started off at 264, ended up at 262.5. You can see the bounce there at the end. I had a high day before my check-in. So my low weight for the week was 261. So really I lost 3 pounds this week. Considering we haven't really cut the calories that much, I'm still eating a shit ton of carbs. I mean, even on my low day, I'm well over, in the mid twos, 250 grams of carbs, something like that. So I am not at the starving point right now. High or medium days, I'm trying to do the math in my head, 120, 140, 240, almost 300 grams of carbs on my medium days. And then I have a high day once a week where it's almost 900 grams of carbs and I'm losing weight. So I have a pretty good metabolism for an old fucker. So right now on track, the goal is probably 1 to 2 pounds a week. I don't get too hung up on the weight. I let the pictures be the judge of where I'm at. As long as the pictures are improving and body composition is improving, that's what matters the most. So my fasted glucose has gotten back to normal. I know I talked about how it was getting high on my during my blast, my off-season blast. It was getting high at the end. I was running around 110, 115, between 110, 120, like in pre-diabetic range, which is not good. But I'm back down in the 90s now, so I think I was just eating too many carbs, and my body just, diabetes runs in my family, so I think my body was just giving me the fuck you. It was telling me it was time to back off. My blood pressure was up the first couple weeks of the prep. Usually when I start ramping the gear back up, my blood pressure will go up and then it comes back down once I readjust to it. I thought I might need to raise my blood pressure medicine up. I only take a half a dose of the X-Forge, which is a calcium channel blocker and an ARB mixed together. I think I'm just going to switch to a straight ARB here soon. I'm probably Thomas Harton. But my blood pressure the last couple of days is, today it was 119/75. I checked it twice. So it's right where it needs to be. And last week was a fucked up week for me. I had to go to the ER 3 different times. I had what they thought was a cyst at first. And then they said, no, it's an abscess. Then they said, no, it's a cyst again. And then they said, no, it's an abscess again. But anyway, this thing swelled up the size of a goddamn golf ball, and I had to get it cut open and drained out, and it turned out it was a really nasty staph infection that had abscessed. They think it was I don't do shots on my hamstring, so it wasn't from that. They think it was just a sweat gland that abscessed. I've never heard of such a fucking thing, but I guess weird shit happens. I don't recall cutting myself. I don't recall having anything going on there. I just had this golf ball swell up on my hamstring. So that was unpleasant. They cut that open. I had to get that thing, go back in daily to get that thing cleaned out, and they packed it full of gauze to let it, drain out and heal back up and recover. They put me on an initial round of antibiotics, and they switched the antibiotics up because the first one wasn't responsive to the strain of bacteria they found. So anyway, it seems to be healed up now. They have to leave that wound open, and it just has to heal from the inside out. I had quite a few days where it was draining. I had to take some time off the gym. Which surprises me that I lost weight because I took 3 days off from the gym. Maybe I needed those days off. I don't know. I'm usually in the gym 7 days a week because I'm a maniac. Not that I'm lifting 7 days a week, but doing cardio, practicing posing, whatever. I just love being in the gym. I like being around the people. I like being in there. It's just part of my routine. So I'm usually in the gym 7 days a week. Anybody who doesn't like to train, you shouldn't be a bodybuilder. I don't know what to tell you. But if you aren't passionate about it, don't waste your time on it. So Progress Pics, these are in my normal check-in spot here. I do them in the shittiest light possible. I'll show you them in the good light, and I look way better in the good light. The good light, but I figure if I look good under the shitty light, the direct light, then I know I'm in shape. But yeah, definitely things are tightening up a little bit. My quads are starting to get a little bit of separation in them. I'm getting some veins in my quads. I have an outline of abs, not that they're ripped or anything. I still have this fucking piece of gyno, the little tiny piece of gyno I got this off season that really is pissing me off because I've had gyno surgery twice now. Fucking twice, man, and it still grows back. I guess they just missed a little piece of glandular tissue in there it's probably the size of a marble. You can see it over here. It's really fucking annoying. It's like a little Vienna sausage in there. I maybe it may go away when I start blasting letrozole and tamoxifen towards the end of my prep. For now, I'm not worried about it. If I have to go back in a third goddamn time to get it cut out, I'll do it. But I don't have to fuck with it now. Little bit of thickness in my waist. That'll tighten up as I go. I want to get that side shot tightened up a little bit. You can see here my cut on my leg. I'm happy with how my back. I always carry fat on my lower back. That is the place that I carry the most fat for whatever reason. That's just the last place I lose it. So you can see I have a little bit of fat on my lower back. It's just the last place that it comes off. I'll be ripped everywhere else, and I'll still have fat on my lower back. Yeah, my glutes will even come in, and I'll still have some fat on my lower back. What I know I'm truly lean is when my lower back, you can see the muscles in my lower back. So here are the pics under the good light. This is what I look like. You can see I'm hairy as fuck. I need to shave down the body hair, so I can really see what's going on. It kind of washes out the definition, but I'd say for 13 weeks out, I'm happy with where I'm at. I definitely put on some size this off season. I'll be interested to see what stage weight I come in at. I always think I'm going to weigh more than I do. I think everybody thinks they're going to weigh more than they do, and then I end up weighing significantly less than what I think I'm going to be. As I go down, I think this year might be the year where I actually come in at the weight that I think I'm going to be. So we shall see. We shall see how things shake out. But I feel pretty good about where I'm at right now at 261 or 2 pounds. That is morning weight fasted, so my walking around weight is still in the high 260s, closer to 270. I don't know. My guess is I'll probably be like 220, 225 on stage. Maybe less. I don't know. Maybe more. I'd be shocked if I was more, but that's kind of where I think I'll be. Current super supplements. I'll show you here in a second on my cycle, how the cycle goes through the 16 weeks. I'm kind of, until we hit about 10 weeks, I kind of just hold at the same dosages. I worked my way up over the first couple weeks, but I'm at 750 test, 600 milligrams of Primo a week, and 100 milligrams of NPP. I don't even know if it's 100 milligrams. I just put just a tiny little bit of NPP in with my test, and the only reason I'm doing it, just so you guys know, it's not that there's some magic with adding the NPP in there. I tore my labrum in my shoulder. My shoulder hurts like fuck. That helps my shoulder hurt a little less. It might all be in my head. I don't know. But I swear when I use NPP, my joints don't hurt as bad, even if it's just a tiny little bit. So that's why I have it in there. Maybe it helps, maybe it doesn't. It's in my head, it helps, so that's what matters. I'm doing a 0.5 milligram of Arimidex every other day. If I were in the off season, I wouldn't even need that. But I suppress the estrogen a little bit on contest prep for fat loss purposes. 6 units of GH every day. When I'm not lazy, I break that up into 3 units in the morning and 3 units before bed. Some days I forget to take it in the morning, so it ends up being all 6 units at night. I'm not going to lie. 1,000 milligrams of metformin per day, 1,000 milligrams of berberine a day, half an X-Forge for blood pressure. That is the amlodipine and valsartan combo, the ARB/channel calcium channel blocker. I'm using Humalog on my high day as needed. I noticed on this last high day, I guess my insulin sensitivity is getting better. So I had to use less Humalog than what I was before. Before, in the off season, I was up to using 10 units every other meal. And that's on top of the Lantus. I had to back it down to 5. I went a little hypo the other day I tried 8 units, and I got a little hypo before my blood sugar got down to, around 50 before my second meal. So I was like, ooh, all right, I guess I'll need to back that off then. So I am backing the Humalog off. Right now, Lantus, I'm doing 25 units of Lantus every day before bed. I'm keeping an eye on that. That may need to reduce as we progress along with the contest prep, especially as my carbs go lower. And at some point, I may even drop the Lantus altogether. It depends on where my carbs are at, how my body's responding. But my suspicion is that probably heading into the last half of contest prep, I won't need it anymore. So if I'm processing the carbs without, I'll just keep an eye on it and see where my blood sugar's at. If I don't need it, I'll pull it out. Current cycle, this is the plan for the 16 weeks. Now keep in mind, this is not set in stone. Some of this is subject to change, but you can see total dosages will ramp up as we go. It started off at 675 milligrams of total gear and slowly ramping up. So we're at 1450 right now until week 10, and then I'll add in the Masteron at week 10. And then week 9, around week 8, week 9, I'll add in week 8, I'll add in Tren. That's when sleep goes away. I'm going to keep the Tren doses low this year. I did 300 milligrams of Tren last year. I'm going to do 150 milligrams of Tren this year and see if I can get by with that. I may even take it down to 100. I have a horrible time sleeping with Tren. I just get horrible insomnia. I cannot fucking sleep when I take Tren. Especially combined with the stimulants, I just cannot fucking sleep with Tren. And if you can't sleep, you dig yourself into a recovery hole, and you look like shit. You feel like shit. I know I've said it before on other videos, but I have this love-hate relationship with Tren. You'll see it when I add the Tren in. Within like a week, maybe 2 weeks, I'll all of a sudden look like I'm ready to get on the stage. I'll have veins popping out everywhere, striations. I'll dry out. Tren just works some magic on me that no other compound does as far as body composition goes. I don't really get much size or strength from it. I know some guys talk about that. I think it's kind of shitty for that. That's just my 2 cents, but I definitely body composition. There is nothing in my book, for at least for me, that can replicate the effect that trend has on me. I just hate it though. I hate the way I feel on it. I get very anxious. Some dudes talking about being aggressive when they're trend. I don't get aggressive. I just get really anxious. I worry. I get paranoid about things. I just, I get antisocial. I just don't like the way I feel. So I'm going to try the lower doses. I did push it for a week or two up to 450 last year, which was just too much. I couldn't handle 450. And 300 was still bothering me. So this is the first year I'm going to try doing 150. This will be the lowest that I've run trend. We'll see how it goes. And then at the end, we'll add in the Proviron, Anavar, Winstrol going into the last few weeks. I'm giving it some consideration, drop the Winstrol and add Halo in instead. I've never used Halo before, and I'm interested in giving it a try and see what it does for my body composition. As of right now, nothing's changed with the diet, so I'm not going to talk about that today. Current training split, push, legs, pull, off. Same thing I've been doing. Rep scheme, nothing to failure. I run a Renaissance periodization style program. Right now I'm doing 12 reps on compound movements, 15 to 20 on isolation movements. My current volume, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Renaissance periodization, but you have minimum, maximum recoverable volume and minimum effective volume. And so as you ramp up your volume, you want to push it as close to the minimum or maximum recoverable volume as you possibly can. And you gradually work your way up to there. And then, you don't want to dig yourself into a recovery hole. Now with contest prep, there is the additional stress from being in a caloric deficit and also from the cardio and from stimulants and, not sleeping as well as you do in the off season. So I am not pushing the volume all the way up to the maximum recoverable volume. I'm staying a few sets back of that, but north of the minimum effective volume. So somewhere in the middle there. And I'm trying to remind myself this year that contest prep is not the time to make gains. That is the off season. Right now, I'm just trying to maintain. I don't want to lose muscle. All right, so I don't want to dig myself into a recovery hole. I want to do enough to stimulate hanging on to what I have and to keep me full and to drive glycogen into the muscle. So right now, I've kind of settled on this. I'm doing 16 sets of chest a week, 20 sets of shoulders, 20 sets of back, 24 sets of quads. Quads are very resilient and take a lot of sets. 14 sets of hams, 16 sets of bis, 16 sets of tris. Now, that is split. Those are working sets. That is split into two workouts. So for example, when I say 16 sets of bis, that's 8 sets per workout. So so for example, I would do 8 sets of dumbbell or 4 sets of dumbbell curls and then like 4 sets of cable curls. All working sets. That doesn't count warm-ups. No warm-ups. So for me, that's, a few sets shy of my maximum recoverable volume, which I am not going to push up to. I'm experimenting. I like to experiment with myself. So we'll see how this goes. This is just kind of my idea, is not to dig myself into a recovery hole. I think a lot of people do that on contest prep, and then they end up looking fried at the end. It's hard for me to hold back. My natural inclination is to push as hard as I fucking can. And I think last year I dug myself into such a deep hole recovery-wise that I couldn't get out of it. I just fell apart at the end of my contest prep. I looked like shit on the stage, I think. I got flat, I got small, I got stringy, I couldn't sleep. I was just a mess at the end. And I look like a skeleton, to be honest with you, but I am not going to do that again. Cardio was up to 20 minutes this past week. I don't know if we're going to push it up next week yet. I'm waiting to hear from Justin on that one. Posing, I am doing 4 20-minute sessions of posing a week. I do them on upper body nights. I don't do posing. So push and pull. After my workout, after my cardio, I'll do 15, 20 minutes of posing. That is a mistake that a lot of guys make. I saw it on stage last year, and I see it when I go to shows. Dudes that don't fucking practice posing And don't start practicing early. They're up there on the stage shaking and trembling, and they can't hold a goddamn pose because they're not in shape for it. I'm telling you, posing is hard as fuck. It's not just the aesthetic part of it. It's the actual act of doing it that is difficult. You're sweating your balls off doing posing if you're doing it correctly. So you have to learn how to be able to handle the posing and hold a pose. And knowing how much you need to tense the muscle. You don't want to go too much that you're cramping up. You have to, but you want enough to where you can see definition. You got to start posing early. I'll ramp the posing up as I go. Towards the end, I was doing it every day last year. Haven't heard from Justin yet, so I don't have any coaches' feedback yet this week. But get on the posing early, guys. I'm telling you, get on the posing early. Show's June 11th. As I mentioned earlier, I had to take a few days off for the staph infection. Training's been great, oddly. My strength has been going up, which usually doesn't happen during contest prep. I felt very strong. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Maybe the few days off that I had to take off because of the staph infection served me well. I don't know, but this training's been really good this week. I felt really good. I felt really strong. Weights are going up easy, so I pushed the weights up a little bit. I am not hyper focused on strength. I don't train for strength anymore. I'm more worried about volume, but I will add weight if I get to the my 12th rep and I feel like I could do 8 more, then it's time to put more weight on the bar. Even though I'm not training to failure. So I want to be relatively close to failure, but I don't take it all the way to failure. But anyway, that's all I got for you guys this week. If you have any questions, comments, hit me up below. If you are interested in coaching or you want to do a consultation call to talk about your questions, cycle, diet, training, whatever, you can book that with me as well. My contact information is in the video description. Take care, guys.